deal go down.
Let the deal go
down,
down.
go down.
Let the deal up.
We are interrupted by the live on-air Little Red Light. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another morning of what it is that you want to know about. This show is The Speaker's Corner, and we are here to speak to you about those things that you may not have even thought about. We are here to share things that you didn't know existed, and we are here to impart upon you knowledge that you wanted to know. I would like to take an opportunity to thank Ziggy in the background for making last week's show possible. She really helps out quite a bit in the back hall, and want to go ahead and say thank you to those. And, of course, thank you to all of our listeners and watchers and tuner-inners to tune into our show. Again, this week we have an action-packed show, and let me bring you the people who will bring it to you. So my name is Jeff Wheeler. I'm here under the illustrious glow of the Gold Dome here in Atlanta, Georgia. Can you see it, Tom? Can you see it?
Almost.
It's through the internet. You'll need to look through the internet to see it. And that brings me to introduce my lovely and talented co-host, Thom Holm. Say good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Jeff. I'm actually coming to you from a location. This is now I just
a
realized,
location.
A
location. Okay.
A special location, I should say.
Does that mean that you're in a place where special people are?
I'm here, so it has to be special.
I meant special people in the rude sense, but fair enough. We'll let it go.
So now I realize this is now officially the third borough of New York City that I have joined the show from. You know, started in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Moved to Queens, and today I'm broadcasting from the Upper West Side, 102nd Street and Broadway, where I am.
We're moving on up to the east side, where I finally got my piece of the pie. We're moving on up.
Yes, so I'm in the Upper West Side.
Oh, the Upper West Side. Sorry.
Dog sitting for a friend.
Yes.
So I'm hanging out in the apartment. I've been here since Wednesday night.
So how is the West Side? Is it a different world to hang out in?
It's different. Every area's got its attitude, and so you have to feel it out. But I like it up here. It's nice. I can never afford it, but
You say never. But if there's a few very good grants that come into your facility at your behest, there might be some fruits. At my behest,
yeah.
There might be fruits.
Right now, this is fruit that I can merely taste but not bite.
And speaking on fruit, you can just taste for a little while. I was sitting at a restaurant, a burger restaurant, and sat next to a guy who had a jacket on that said Tesla on the side, right? And I said, do you work for Tesla? It's right up the street in Marietta. And he's like, no, I own one. I said, oh, okay. Do they give you the jacket whenever you get it? He's like, yeah. How do you like it? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, does it ever bug you that you only have about 300 miles of range? So if you really want to go for a long weekend trip, you can't really do it on the Tesla in a lot of applications. He goes, look, dude, there is not a single one of my friends that all have BMWs and Mercedes that would not let me trade cars with them for the weekend. And I said, and there's how you taste the apple of the other side.
Nice.
And why not? He can buy he can borrow a petrol car from one of his friends and let them drive around this sports car, this Tesla, for a weekend, and all is well.
Well played. So what we got to play today, man?
Let's see. Let's start off with a little something called National Freedom Day.
I'm sorry, what?
National Freedom Day. There is apparently some sort of day that is National Freedom generality on. Let me go ahead and click on the Wikipedia. In the United States, observance of February 1, honoring the signing by Abraham Lincoln of a joint House and Senate resolution that later became the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution. President Lincoln signed the amendment outlawing slavery on February 1, 1865, though it was not ratified by the states until later. But they observe National Freedom Day in honor of the signing of what would later be the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution. And ladies and gentlemen, is today. May we raise our coffee
150 years ago today.
150 years ago specifically today. So the sesquicentennial of National Freedom Day. Here we go.
Nice.
You haven't heard the word sesquicentennial in quite a while, have you?
No.
Have you heard it ever before?
I have heard it. I have heard it.
Oh, okay. So it should be the 150th anniversary for those in our audience who weren't familiar with the sesquicentennial, which is spelled Sesquicentennial.
It's amazing to think about. I think so. 150 years ago was the signing of that bill that would eventually become the 13th Amendment.
Yes.
Two things, observations. It amazes me. That means there were only two preceding amendments, besides the Bill of Rights, two preceding amendments to the 13th.
Correct.
That's fascinating. And
correct.
So that's nearly 100 years of U.S. history.
Mm-hmm. And most of them were done within 10, 20 years of the ratification.
So that's fascinating. Also, and this is going in the other direction, 50 years later, and it changed because I think it's in April, but I believe the Battle of Gallipoli in World War I began. So it always just amazes me, when you look at stretches of history and you're like, okay, so one day Abraham Lincoln's penning down with Congress the Freedom Act or the bill that would freedom, and then 25 April 1915, the Battle of Gallipoli, one of the most bloody campaigns in World War I, would begin. I don't know. It just fascinates me that how much change.
Yeah, sure, certainly.
Progress,
do you know that there were
man.
11,539 proposals to amend the Constitution have been introduced into Congress since 1789?
Wow.
11,539 proposals to Congress.
How many of those were flag burning proposals? That's got to be like 5,000 of them, right?
So the amendments as they go, all 1 through 10 were all done in 1789. 1794 is the 11th Amendment. Mm-hmm. And then the presidential election procedures were amended in 1803. Mm-hmm. And then there were 62 years until the 13th Amendment.
Fascinating. Well, happy Freedom Day.
Happy Freedom Day.
150.
Excellent. So I'd like to let you know that this week we've got a sponsor. They're an unpaid sponsor, but this week we have a sponsor. We are sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a website or blog, this place to go is Squarespace. They have easy design templates. They have many ways to promote your website and are a hosting service as well as a website builder. Ladies and gentlemen, we are brought to you by Squarespace mostly because of a website. If you have a web browser in front of you, I need you to go now to dreamingwithjeff.com. Okay? Type in for me dreamingwithjeff.com. This site is Jeff from the fame of The Big Lebowski, where he plays a lute and wrote an album and posted it on Squarespace so that you can have the sleeping tapes. So if you're having trouble sleeping, you can sleep with the dude. The dude abides and helps you to fall asleep. Should I play a little bit of the album?
No, then our viewers will fall asleep.
Ah, so wonderful. Yes, it is certainly sleeping music. So in any case, that is our sponsor for the week.
Replacing our previous sponsor, Panel Beaters of Cape Town.
Replaced our previous sponsor of Tillamook Cheese.
Those checks never cleared anyway.
That's correct. So speaking of sponsorship, this is the sponsorship season. The sponsorship season being culminated around the Super Bowl. The most expensive place to place an ad ever. So the commercials this year, I believe a 30-second spot is going for $4.5 million. $4.5 million. And I was listening to CNBC, and they were talking about how you actually get your money's worth out of a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah.
And they basically specified that the way you get your money's worth is in the hype and hoopla and people downloading it, watching it on YouTube, so you get more impressions out of what you broadcast once on the television. Mm-hmm. So you broadcast it once on the television, then you have it available for other things. And if people talk about an ad, how many times do you watch television shows, an ad comes on, and you don't talk about it, you just move on, or you go get a cup of coffee, or you go refill your drink. You aren't paying attention to the ad. But during the Super Bowl is an exclusive event where people actually pay attention to the ads.
This is why at first I thought it was a few years ago when they started doing this, I thought it was complete stupidity. I was like, why are they doing this? This is dumb. But now I've had it explained to me like, no, this is actually really smart, which is the pre-release of commercials where, several, 4 weeks, maybe as much as 4 weeks or more out, Super Bowl commercials are being shown on Good Morning America or online. And I thought I was like, oh, you're shooting your load earlier. Bad expression. You're letting the cat out of the bag too quickly.
Yes.
You're stealing your own thunder.
Right.
And the to this point that you're making, the response was like, no, this actually creates a conversation that begins before the Super Bowl, continues into the Super Bowl, and goes after. So in fact, that one 30-second spot that you paid several $1 million for is actually going to be talked about for more than just the 5-10 seconds after the commercial
and it's
ran.
the talked about that doesn't really happen.
Right. Yeah, that's the only way to have a real, truly effective commercial is to like elicit conversation or not just emotional, like, oh, that was great, or haha, that was funny, but to actually have some kind of dialogue happen.
So are there any commercials that you remember? Specifically, you can go, man, they nailed it on that one.
I mean, obviously, we can just always, we can go ahead and put the 1984 Apple commercial
Okay,
on.
so let's go in the last 10 years.
Great.
Any commercials in the last 10 years that you say nailed it? I'm going to jump in with one.
Please.
Betty White in the Snickers commercial 2 or 3 years ago, where she was playing football.
Right.
And they were making the "you're not yourself" kind of references. And they look at the guy who's playing quarterback and they go, "You're playing like Betty White." And it literally was Betty White. And Betty White looks back at this dude and goes, "That's not what your girlfriend said last night." And it's like, Betty White, I love you in all ways, because you are allowed, you're this little old lady who is allowed to be a little ruckus, and you play with it. And
Abe
so
Vigoda
awesome.
was in that commercial too, right? Wasn't Abe Vigoda?
Yeah, the old guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Do you have any that you can remember?
It's more than 10 years ago, but it's a commercial I totally remember and thinking they nailed it, because suddenly everyone was like, I gotta see this movie. Was the teaser trailer for Independence Day, where all it basically showed was the White House blowing up from the alien, laser coming down, and then it was like Independence Day, our Independence Day, July 4th.
Yep.
And it was like, everyone was like, oh my God, I gotta see that movie.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It was.
You made.
All right, so I will now make this a call to action for our audience. If anyone in the audience has commercials that they feel like are the things that we should be paying attention to and the ones that really made an impact, you can go ahead and tweet at tpuppy or at Delegator and let us know what it is. We'll bring that back up next week when we give you a rundown of what these commercials looked like in real life.
Great. We'll obviously be talking about the ones we saw tonight.
That's the idea. Well. Yes, we'll be talking about the ones that have made an impact that happened today and what kind of waves that they made. So feel free to tweet at us and let us know what you got. And so we welcome your feedback here and looks like we do have quite a few viewers this week, so I'd like to thank them for showing up. And there you go. So the next is balls. Did you touch those balls?
Okay, this is about Deflategate, or my personal favorite because it's so offensive and just mounds on a molehill is people actually refer to as Balgazi.
Balgazi, jeez.
Which is just offensive on multiple levels and stupid on the rest.
Deflategate is a little better.
Deflategate's a little bit better, but I want a moratorium on gates. We need a new gate.
Yeah.
There's got to be something new. So that's
Unless it actually happens at Watergate, in which case you're completely allowed to use gate.
Or it involves a gate.
Or it actually involves a gate, yeah.
A physical gate. So, of course, we are talking about the scandal for the last 2 weeks involving the supposed deflation of balls in the Patriots game versus Indianapolis Colts. I'm actually embarrassed that I'm even talking about this because this is so stupid and pointless, and it's just, at the end, it's like a damn game. I don't care. And
it gives people something to talk about. They have a 24-hour news cycle, and they need to talk a lot. So what do? You create hype and hoopla.
Yeah. This is why I hate that they moved the Pro Bowl. Not that anyone watched the Pro Bowl, and I know that's why they tried to move it to give it a little more attention, but it used to be the Pro Bowl took place after the Super Bowl, so the Super Bowl would have been last weekend.
Yeah.
But now we've got 2 weeks to basically where sports writers have nothing to do, and so rather than play with themselves, they have to make up or find new things to talk to death about.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I can't take it.
Now, the one that I do like that people are doing is the Marshawn Lynch stuff. Have you seen the Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah.
Where he basically stood up there and goes, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Fined.
Yep. And then the rest of the week he was like, you know why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but moving on.
I've actually seen comments and articles where like in the forum in the comment section, someone says, "I'm here just so I won't get fined." I'm like, it's great. I know you're not the first one to do it, but I still love that you're doing it. Whoever did it first is awesome.
I will rafflecopter at what you just said. Thank you.
Rafflecopter.
Rafflecopter.
Nice.
You know the rafflecopter, right? The concept of a rafflecopter.
Is it where you roll on the floor laughing, but you're also spinning? Huh.
No. It's basically the when somebody important chimes into a forum post, like you're talking in an AMA in Reddit, and the main person does an LOL, and then everybody that's in there feels the need to add their LOL right behind.
Oh, I see. Oh, interesting.
Right? So now you get a rafflecopter of lo 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 lo. Right?
Interesting.
Yeah. A little bit of internet memery here that we join you with. Thank you. So speaking of internet memery, that moves us on to a glorious, lovely, bountiful, amazing thing that just might happen in my world. And it's called Google Fiber. Google Fiber announced this past week that they will be moving affirmatively to Atlanta and a number of neighborhoods in Atlanta, and I will say here on the podcast, if I'm not able to get it where I am, I would seriously consider getting 2 men in a truck so that I do have it where I live. Okay? So that's because it's as good as having a grocery store around the corner to have internet that's 1 gigabit for like $40-50. Because I just was off the phone with Comcast, and they raised my rate from $40 to $80, and all I was getting was internet.
Wow, that's...
And then they say, "Oh, you're getting HBO for free," and I'm like, "No, not at that price. I'm paying for it.
Yeah,
I guarantee you, I'm paying for it."
That's an insane jack.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, so what's the next topic here?
Do you know what the timeline is for? By the way, is there like a
They say it's supposed to be released within the next couple of months. I don't have any real... They're kind of cloak and dagger about it, because the thing is that they want everybody to be excited about it, and they will be rolling it out to neighborhoods based on interest. So a lot of people that I know that are involved in, what is that, Nextdoor policy? What is that website? There's a website called like Nextdoor or Around the Corner or something like that. And basically they're taking their neighborhoods and having them flood Google Fiber with interest so that they would be able to get it. Because really, once Google Fiber is laid down, they give you 5 megs of internet for free. For free. Or you can pay the reasonable cost to get 1 gigabit internet connection, which is brilliant.
Glorious.
All right, so what's the next topic?
That's certainly not coming to New York anytime soon, unfortunately.
Why?
And that,
From what I understand, they're in the process right now of laying the dark fiber, because that's what Google Fiber relies on, is dark fiber.
Do you sense a disturbance in the fiber?
No. Do you understand the dark fiber concept?
No, I have no idea.
Okay, so say there's a pipe that's this big and it's filled with fiber, right? The internet big boys will buy, the Comcasts or whatever, will buy 20-30% of it as utility fiber, because that's what they then reprovision and resell and all these kinds of things, right? So they're running over 20% of it. Then your companies, your big boy companies, your Exxon Mobils, your large law firms, these guys will also buy fiber connections, and that'll be another 20-30% of the connection, right? And then there is some 30-40% of it that they consider dark fiber, because there is no light at the end of these fibers. Because in a pipe that's about this big, you can fit 2,000, 3,000 fibers in there. You can fit lots and lots of little fibers in there. So to that end, that allows you to then light up this dark fiber, because it's already been laid, and end up with a very reasonable cost of providing high-speed internet to the peoples.
Still, it's not going to be here for a while.
From what I understand, they're laying the dark fiber now. They're laying the fiber that's intentionally unused. That they're buying they're getting the big boys to pay the big boy dollars to guarantee that they have service to their thing, and when they lay that, they drop extra fiber in there to cover these other resources. So
we shall see.
5 to 10 years, and it will happen.
All right. Well, you'd think that would be something that pisses me off, but this week's things that pisses me off that shouldn't is New York City and the weather.
Explain.
Specifically, New Yorkers and the weather. Recently, when I say recently, I mean Monday night and the weekend, New York City was in a tizzy here. Most of the Northeast was in a tizzy because a big winter front was moving in. Snowstorm Juno, because they named the winter storms now.
Juno?
Snowstorm Juno is coming. Juno.
Okay. So it's a girl that, ended up with... No, it's not like the movie?
Not like the movie, yeah.
Okay.
It was longer than 90 minutes, and...
Got it.
And isn't still running on cable incessantly. So the storm rolled in, and there were dire predictions, as much as 30 inches in New York City. We shut our offices down early. The trains were being shut at 11 that night. They were going at a limited schedule 4 hours prior to that. Basically, the idea was stay home, get off the roads. Schools were closed. Come to find the next day, we got maybe 10 inches, maybe less. Now, the reality is Long Island got 20 inches. North of the city, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine got hammered. They got 30 plus. But New York, expecting 30 inches, getting 10, instead of going, we lucked out, so many New Yorkers, their response was, that was it? What? That was it? What? Not that. That was it? And I was just like, shut up. You got lucky. The weather is fickle.
That's right.
And also, you weren't paying attention, because they said as much as 30 inches, or depending on how things happen, it could be a high of 30. They'll tell you the high, because they don't want you to get mad at them. Or it could potentially be lower. And what happened was, overnight, a bubble kind of appeared that basically shielded Philly to New York. Everyone swam. The front kind of pushed everything up, so it was like a little bit of a bubble. I saw the same thing with Hurricane Irene. This was before Sandy. Hurricane Irene was barreling down, coming towards New York. Everyone was told to beware, be careful. Nothing happened in the city, and everyone acted disappointed. Meanwhile, Staten Island got flooded out. Upstate New York, homes were washed away, cars were lost in rivers. But New Yorkers, if it didn't happen here, it didn't happen anywhere. It's where I get a little bit pissed off the self-centeredness of New Yorkers, when you should be actually thankful. Be thankful nothing happened with Irene. Be thankful the snowstorm wasn't so bad.
How about let's give the moral to this story: an attitude of gratitude.
An attitude of gratitude. Thank you, man.
That's right. Our world needs a better attitude of gratitude. Please.
Dig, brother. Dig it.
Please.
That's all I got to say on that.
Excellent. So, speaking of an attitude of gratitude, I really loved a particular movie from the 80s. Okay? And I have heard recently that it is on its way back to our world. This lovely, lovely life-changing movie.
The Beetlejuice sequel. I'm very excited. Yeah.
There's a Beetlejuice sequel?
Yeah.
What?
Got Michael Keaton's even signed on. I think Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton signed on.
I did not know about that one. This one I'm speaking about is a different one. It is actually based on the fact that I guess about a month or two ago there was a 30th anniversary of this movie. This movie is Ghostbusters.
Oh, I ain't afraid of ghosts.
Yeah, I ain't afraid of no ghost. And Ghostbusters is coming back. Kristen Wiig is putting it back together, and the idea she's got is to do an all-female cast.
Kristen Wiig.
Didn't say Kristen Wiig?
I think you said Kristen.
Okay, Kristen.
Where is he?
Kristen Wiig is intending to do an all-female remake of Ghostbusters. Thumbs up or down, Tom?
Well, first I get a thumb sideways. First of all,
thumb sideways.
Thumb sideways because I need clarification, and then I need to make a point because there's some conversation that pisses me off. First, is it a remake or is it a reboot or is it existing in the same universe as the male, all male Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters 3.
No, well, there has been a long rumored Ghostbusters 3, but it never got off the ground because Bill Murray was always like, no.
Bill Murray now is pitching that they should do it with the Big Bang Theory's Penny as one of the girls in there. The girl from the Fantastic Four.
Jessica Alba?
Oh, and the chubby girl from Bridesmaids.
That is McCarthy, right? Melissa McCarthy. She is going to be in there.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy, along with the co-writer Kristen Wiig.
Mm-hmm.
Zombie co-star or Zombieland's co-star Emma Stone.
Emma Stone.
Yep. And Mad Men star Linda Cardinelli.
No, this isn't the official cast. Then there's
this is the one that he's proposing. This is the one that Bill
Murray
Murray
says.
Cast.
They have the cast set.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, it's Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, and the other two actresses I'm not entirely familiar with, so the names just stick. So, I want clarity on if it's a remake or if it's a reboot, because I'm confused by that. And then here's and this is where I'll get myself in trouble with people and they'll probably yell at me. I
Leslie Jones and Kate McKinnon.
I would love to see. I think it's people rightfully looking at this as a very, hell yeah, let's have some sci-fi action films that are, all female cast. It's needed. I think it's important. It's great. We're doing that. It'll pass the Bechdel test with flying colors. I just confused why it couldn't be an original story or an original concept. Why did it have to be a remake?
Because you guarantee yourself an audience.
I guess so. You're right. You're right.
Because it's a really good business move to guarantee using the name Ghostbusters, people will go see it.
And yeah, which will get people past the blockage they may have on seeing a sci-fi comedy that's only women. If it got it acts as a Trojan horse of sorts to get the film story in front of people's eyeballs. Okay.
That's correct.
All right, then I'll roll with it. I will be cautiously optimistic, or I'll just be cautious.
Got it. And neutral. Just to remind our audience, we promote and publish the links to any and all of these topics that we go through in our showcase after the show. You can feel free to take a look through that and see what's going on. Right? On to the next topic is associated with Ghostbusters. Eddie Murphy, was he ever in Ghostbusters? Wow, I can hear you type, Tom.
All right, I'm just pissed off. Right.
Eddie Murphy is coming back to. Eddie Murphy is going to be coming back to Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I believe he's coming back for the 40th anniversary special.
Oh,
Which
so
is
he's
like,
just coming back for
wow.
one show. I thought he was going to be a regular cast member.
No, that's where
That'd
it
be
gets a little
brilliant
confusing.
if we got to see some good Gumby shows.
Or I thought he was, or even like coming back to host or something, which would have been really sensational. It's nothing quite that cool, at least as I understand it. I think he's coming back as a part of the special. But it is cool, as you just point out, because he has had no relations with the show
Mm-hmm.
really since I believe departing. Maybe he hosted once post departure, but has not had any kind of interaction with the show for
And
quite some time.
likely intentionally. Likely intentionally. But I'm glad to see him come back. I would love to see him do a regular appearance. So next,
Plus, it'll be good. What's he done? We were talking about. What's the last great Eddie Murphy movie you saw? Quick.
Dr. Doolittle.
Damn it! Michelle said the same thing. I don't. I gotta hear that movie is good. I don't know.
Okay,
I'm in the minority. I thought that movie was bad, but what do I know?
fair enough. All right, now for something completely different. This week, I acquired a new piece of equipment directly from China. Isn't even officially sold here in the U.S. with any suppliers. Have to get it directly from the internet because it came directly from China. And it proves to me once again the Chinese issue / success that our world right now provides. I have been playing with this ham radio stuff to be able to broadcast and talk and all these kinds of things. So I bought what is locally available, a Yaesu, which is a Japanese supplier of handheld radios. And it's a nice radio. It does all the things that I need it to do. It's got a nice spec sheet. It does all the things, right? But the price of it is effectively $300. Right? And I said, well, that's how much it costs to do this kind of thing. Because you look at the comparatives, and in all the stores, the comparatives are anywhere from $250 for something that doesn't do quite as much to $600-700 for something that does a little bit more. So it was a pretty good price when you look at all the stores and the things that are available from traditional suppliers here in the United States. I then heard about something on the internet that was a $29 radio that was supposed to do most of everything that this one that I bought for $300 did. I then said, well, what the hell? I can get it. I can at least use it for this and this, which it'll certainly work for. So I'll make a business purpose out of it because we have to climb stacks and talk to each other separately. And so instead of dealing with a cell phone, do it on these little walkie-talkies, right? Get the thing. And not only does it work doing that, but it works as good or better in all regards to the one that I bought for $300, right? So a $29 radio works as good or better in smaller packaging than one that's $300.
Wow.
And so that goes to the stationary nature of businesses when they don't have active competition. The guys from China that have no name recognition, namely Baofeng, Baofeng, Baofeng has a need to make their product marketable without going through all the sales channels, and because nobody really wanted to buy their product because they were making money on these other things. So why would they futz with it? And so this Chinese supplier said, to hell with it, we'll do something way cheaper, make it hugely beneficial for these people, and then people will find us. And I found them, and I'd just like to say that is how we end up with lots better quality of life without spending as much of our resources. Is this kind of innovation. It's this kind of innovation that we run into from outside suppliers. Have you found this to be the case, or is all Chinese stuff garbage?
No, no. It's certainly. I'd love to see. There's if you were to put it on a graph, quality over time, in the last few years, it's probably gone like this, and then exponentially drifted up.
Yep.
I think there's a hangover from because if you were to go back 5 or 10 years, maybe even 5 years ago, you'd be seeing still quite a lot of crap coming out of there. But I think the reality is more and more, because they're not just turning out to be bottomed. They're not shooting to be the low end item. They're shooting to be the well priced item
But
So,
they're
yeah,
now looking for that quality play, that
Yes.
that value play, which is quality versus price
Right.
versus just raw price.
yeah. So I think it's the cultural perception is going to still take a while to get over because I mean it's easy to say Chinese dumping it's just crap or it's ripping off this that and it's going to take a while to get over that hangover. But no, you're right. I have seen myself as well examples of wow, this is just as good if not better than
Right. Right. So there you go. Next time you see a Chinese supplier of something, if it is recently designed, you should consider it. According to us here at this, our illustrious podcast of the day. Right?
something you shouldn't consider is putting out those Romney for president posters in the yard.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, Mitt is not in it to win it. Mitt Romney has announced that he will, much like last year when he went no to running for president. He has announced that he is out. Done. Ski, not doing it. Which makes a question. I remember I was asking. I think NBC nailed it with a headline. They said Jeb Bush, front runner, or John Huntsman 2.0.
John who?
Huntsman 2.0.
Ah, yes. Yes. So I'm really glad that he went ahead and took himself out of the race because you got a lot of people who are establishment driven individuals who feel like they need to support a guy who has the backing, who has the support, who is already a winner. And Mitt, although has lots of credentials that would make him a viable candidate, never resonated with the populace, with the electorate. And to that end, you're done. You're done. You can't really create that out of the ether. They have tried, but we need in our political system somebody who really resonates with the American people. And too often those with money are forcing us to decide between a bunch of people who don't resonate with the electorate. Obama did resonate. I don't necessarily agree with him as a leader, but he did resonate. So there you go. Next on the list is Next on the list is Groundhog Day. Is that coming up?
Crap, is that coming up? Holy shnikey. What is it? He sees the shadow and it's 6 more weeks of winter?
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Oh, we're getting more
he
winter?
Sees the shadow. Yeah.
Groundhog Day is
February
February 2nd. So that is tomorrow. Groundhog Day. February 2nd. I say we get, yes, more winter. I go with you. For no good reason.
Place your bets.
Whatsoever.
It's
All right,
50-50.
then we move on to the Asshat. Who's your Asshat?
My Asshat is I believe it's the Los Angeles Police Department and specifically a retirement party that they just had recently.
Oh, yeah? Were there strippers in blow?
Well,
did they take all the drugs out of the impound and just have a hootin' old time?
Oh, that would actually have been better than what they did. Well, there was a stripper involved, but the stripper is actually where the story came from. A stripper who was hired to be an exotic dancer at what she eventually found out was I believe a dinner following a benefit golf. It was involved with a lot of LAPD. So what happened was she was backstage and she heard someone on stage, singing a song, performing bad Leroy Brown, but they changed the lyrics to Mike Brown. Mike Brown being the man
bad
killed
Michael
by police
Brown. Oh, jeez.
in Ferguson, Missouri. So the dancer proceeded to. She was like a little bit in shock at what she was hearing. So she proceeded to, go outside into the main area, pretend to be like fiddling with her phone, but she was actually recording what was going on. And so she put it on. She put it online, took it down, but then TMZ found it. It went viral, and now I believe the LAPD is actually investigating what happened because Yeah. So
Wow.
So it's plural asshats because it's obviously the performer and it's any and anyone who is laughing or applauding at that.
Wow. But, people are allowed to screw up, and that certainly is just that, a screw up.
Screw up major. So, yeah.
And if you need to do a public relations campaign, I will encourage you to use our week's sponsor of Squarespace. Come up with a website, to come up with a public relations campaign to recover from a screw up that you do yourself. If you want to have, I'm the LAPD and I don't think that Michael Brown is a bad idea. Wait, that didn't work well. I'm the LAPD and I'm sorry for Michael Brown slander that we did this week. Then you can do that at Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com and come up with your own website or blog. Is that it?
Well, I think we have to sign out, right?
Oh, right. We have to do the end part. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to have another week on your own without us telling you what to think. But you know what? When we tell you what to think, you do not have to think the way that I think.
And you certainly don't have to think the way I think.
But we are going to ask you, as the Speaker's Corner, to think on your own. Thank you. We'll see you next week.